All right. I was told this was going to be a plea this afternoon. Is that still the case, Mr. Samuels?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, and so I thought maybe we would do that first and then deal with the probation violation.
Sounds good.
All right, this is People of the State of Michigan versus Dustin Stone, docket numbers 20-389FH and 20-390FH. And Mr. Stone, would you raise your right hand, please? And do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Stone, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Samuels. And either Mr. Samuels or Ms. Allen, can you tell me which count or counts he's pleading to in each file?
Yes, Your Honor. On 20-389-FH, he'll be pleading guilty to all 3 counts. And on 20-390-FH, the amended information, he'll be pleading guilty to just count 3.
Count 3. Okay. And then if that's correct, Mr. Samuels, would you waive reading of the balance of all the other charges?
I will, but hold on, let me just double check. That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay,
And we will
would you
waive reading on all the other charges.
Would you go ahead and read them, please, Ms. Allen?
In the People of the State of Michigan versus Dustin Stone, file 20-389-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham. In the name of the people of the State of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about October 14, 2019, at 2655 East Grand River Avenue, Meridian Township, Ingham County, the defendant did in count 1, the offense of larceny in a building, that he did commit the crime of larceny in a gym by stealing car keys contrary to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 4 years and or $5,000. And in count 2, did commit the offense of possession of a financial transaction device, that he did have in possession or under control or receive from another person a financial transaction device issued by MSU FCU with the intent to use, deliver, circulate, or sell the same, or to permit, cause, or procure the same to be used, delivered, circulated, or sold, knowing such possession, control, or receipt to be without consent of the device holder, contrary to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 4 years and or $5,000. And in count 3, did commit the offense of larceny less than $200, that he did commit the offense of larceny by stealing a wallet that belonged to Jordan Morales. The value of the property stolen was less than $200, contrary to Michigan law. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days and or $500, or 3 times the value of the property stolen, whichever is greater. To impose the fine of 3 times the value, the defendant must admit the amount, or it must be determined by the trier of fact at trial. And these crimes were committed against the peace and dignity of the state of Michigan. And in the People of the State of Michigan versus Dustin Stone, file 20-390-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham. In the name of the people of the state of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about October 31st, 2019, at 693 Grovenberg Road, Delhi Township, Ingham County, the defendant did, in count 3, commit the offense of home invasion in the 3rd degree, that he did break and enter, or did enter without permission, a dwelling located at 693 Grovenberg Road, Delhi Township, and while entering, present in, or exiting the dwelling, did commit a larceny, a misdemeanor, contrary to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 5 years and or $2,000, and was committed against the peace and dignity of the state of Michigan.
Okay, Mr. Stone, you're being charged here in this first file with larceny in a building, a felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison, illegal possession of a financial transaction device, a felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison, larceny under $200, a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail. And then on the second file, 3rd degree home invasion, a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Also, if you were on parole at the time you committed any of these, there would be a mandatory consecutive sentence. Have you had enough time to talk about these charges with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about what we're doing this afternoon?
No.
And how do you want to plead?
Your Honor, before he does plead guilty, just because I didn't hear it, I could have missed it. There is also a Killebrew agreement on this matter as well.
Right, we haven't gotten there yet. We'll get
Okay,
there.
I wasn't sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
And how do you want to plead, Mr. Stone?
Guilty.
If your plea of guilty is accepted by this court, it means you won't have a trial of any kind, and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with a trial. That means you're giving up the right to have a trial by jury, or if you didn't want trial by jury, trial by judge. You'll be giving up the right to be presumed innocent and to require the prosecutor to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You're giving up the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the trial and to be able to cross-examine them, as well as the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the trial. You'll give up your right to remain silent at the trial and not to have your silence used against you, or in the alternative, your right to testify at the trial if you wanted to. Also, there are some things about appeals that are different when you plead guilty. One is you don't get an automatic right to appeal your case to the higher court. Instead, you have to ask them to hear your case and they would have to agree to hear it. The other thing that's different is that when you plead guilty, there are many things you cannot appeal to the higher court. Unlike when people go to trial, if they get convicted, they can appeal everything to the higher court. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone, also if I accept your plea, it means you cannot come back later on and try to say that the plea was the result of some promise or threat that no one told me about today. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
It also means you cannot come back later on and try to say that it really wasn't your own choice to plead guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a plea agreement, Ms. Allen?
There is, Your Honor. Today, the defendant will be pleading guilty as we listed in file 20-389-FH in full and in file 20-390-FH to count 3. The people agreed to dismiss the balance of the counts in that file. We also agreed to dismiss in full file 20-391-FH, 20-392-FH, and 20-393-FH. The defendant agreed to pay restitution on those dismissed counts. There's also a sentence agreement pursuant to People versus Killebrew that the defendant's upfront jail will not exceed 12 months in the Ingham County Jail. And as by statute as well, it will run concurrent to his probation violation sentence should he have one arising out of this incident.
And Mr. Samuels, is that a full and complete statement?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Stone, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree with it?
Yes, ma'am.
There's an agreement about your sentence, and that is that it would be no more than 12 months in jail. If for some reason I decided not to go along with that, I would tell you before I sentenced you, and I'd give you a chance to take back your plea and start all over. You got all that?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything else that hasn't been said here right now in order to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone used any threats to get you to do it?
No, ma'am.
Is this your own choice?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you pleading guilty because you believe you are in fact guilty of these offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's start with the one that is first in time, which is on or about October 14, 2019. These are the larceny building financial transaction device ones. Tell me what you did.
I had a membership at I believe this is the YMCA, right?
Yes.
Had a membership there, went in and took a couple, I think I took a pair of car keys and went and got into the cars and got the wallet, the Jordan one.
Okay, so let's start, hang on, let's go first to the car keys. So you were in the gym, the YMCA, correct?
Yeah.
And that's where you got the keys?
Yes.
And they didn't belong to you, correct?
No, ma'am.
You were stealing them?
Yes.
So then you took them outside the building, correct?
Yes.
And then you used them to get into a car. Am I
Yes.
following you correct? Okay. And then what did you steal from the car?
A wallet.
Okay. And that did not belong to you?
No, ma'am.
All right. And then was the value of the wallet less than $200? Wallet and contents.
Yes.
Okay. Did you maybe take some kind of a financial transaction device out of the wallet?
I don't. Wait, I'm confused on which one.
Okay, there's one charge about a financial transaction device. So whether it came from the wallet or not, did you on that date or on or about that date use a financial? Okay, tell me about that.
I got the card out of the wallet and tried to use it, I believe.
Oh, okay. So was it like a debit card or something?
Yeah, I think, yes.
And again, you had no permission to have that in your possession because it didn't belong to you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and all of this happened in the area of 2655 East Grand River in Meridian Township, Ingham County, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then let's talk about the other file on or about October 31st. This is the home invasion one. Tell me about that.
I was renting a room from older person, and I ended up leaving the night, and I took something, or I took the coat and I left.
Okay. Where did you take the coat from?
It was on so when you're walking out the door, it would be on like the little coat rack right here.
Okay, but was that in someone else's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any permission to be in it?
I did and I didn't.
I'm sorry?
No.
This is the one on Grovenberg. Did you have any permission to enter the home?
I did have permission, but I was asked to leave, so no.
Okay, so at some point you're told to leave. It's not your home. You leave and then you come back. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you get in when you come back?
Front door.
Okay, did you have to open it?
Yeah.
All right, and again, because you had been told previously to leave, that entry would have been without permission, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you said you took something off the coat rack. What did you take?
It was a coat.
Okay, and did you leave the house with it?
Yes.
All right, and that was again at Grovenberg Road in Delhi Township, Ingham County, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the court complied with MCR 6.302, Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr.
Samuels?
I have, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than those already placed on the record, Ms. Allen?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Samuels?
I am not, Your Honor.
The court finds the plea is understandingly and voluntarily made without undue influence, threats, or promises of leniency. It is an accurate plea. It is supported by the testimony and the plea is accepted. I can give you a sentencing date of April 26th at 3:15. Does that work for you, Mr. Samuels?
Did you say April 26th?
Yes, that's Monday, April 26th.
That should work for me, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Stone, you think you're going to be okay with us doing it remotely from the jail again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Then that'll be on April 26th 6th at 3:15. You should just be aware that someone from the probation department's going to do a remote interview with you in order to prepare the report that I'll use for sentencing. So you should just know that they'll be doing that. Okay, do you have any questions, Mr. Stone, before we go? Or
No,
actually,
ma'am.
before we go on, I forgot, we have the PV, so we'll go on to that one. And this is People of the State of Michigan versus Dustin Stone, docket number 19-458FH. And on this one, Mr. Stone, I previously advised you of the probation violation allegations against you, and also that we were looking at a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison based on your original conviction. And, 4 years in prison on each of the 2 files. And I advised you of your right to a contested hearing as well as your right to an attorney. Mr. Samuels, do you represent him on the PV too? I can't remember. Mr. Samuels, do you represent him on the PV?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, and how are we proceeding on this then?
We're gonna plead guilty to some of the charges. I spoke to Mr. Gleason, and I believe he's agreed to drop 2 of the counts, and we'll plead.
Okay. I think we had already dropped count 5, but Agent Gleason, what are we gonna do here as far as dropping counts?
Missing counts 5 and 6, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so this will be an admission to counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Stone, I have to swear you again, so would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Stone, as I previously told you, you do have the right to a contested hearing on the probation violation matters. And if you plead guilty, you won't have that hearing, and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with it. Those rights include the right to have the allegations proven, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the hearing and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the hearing, and also the right to testify yourself at the hearing if you wanted to. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And has anyone made any promises to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Anyone used any threats or other kinds of pressure?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you are in violation of probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then let's start with count 1. It says that on December 7, you failed to report within 24 hours that you had had police contact. Tell me about that.
I did fail to. I was letting pretrial know the whole time. I'm pretty sure pretrial could tell you like most of the stuff.
Okay.
I did forget to tell Mr. Gleason that I did have police contact.
Okay, and then the next day, did you tell him something that wasn't even true about police contact?
Yes.
All right, and then we're doing count 4, right? The driving without a license? Were you,
Your Honor.
was the, yeah,
Maybe Mr. Samuels will know. I'm not sure if that's still pending or not.
yeah, is it Mr. Samuels?
No, it's not. It's not pending anymore. My understanding, he's already pled to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the police contact that you didn't report and that you perhaps lied about was the December 6th, you were stopped by the police and driving without a valid license. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then on December 22nd of last year, you made another untruthful report to your probation agent about police contact. Is that correct?
I believe it was only one One, I believe.
Okay, you don't think that you lied twice
Is
to your,
Is this the same day or?
no. It's for, the first one, it says that you made an untruthful report about police contact on December 8th, and now I'm asking you about December 22nd. So it looks to me like maybe 2 times you reported and lied about police contact. Does that sound
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then did you fail to complete the MRT program?
Yes.
And did you report to probation during the months of January and February this year?
No, I did not.
Okay, the court finds the plea is understandingly, voluntarily, and knowingly made. It is supported by the testimony. The plea of guilty is accepted. Mr. Stone is found guilty of probation violation on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. I assume we're gonna wanna do sentencing all at the same time with the others.
Yeah, that'd probably be appropriate at this time, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's how I always prefer to do it, so.
Okay.
Mr. Gleason or Agent Gleason, can you join us then on the April 26th, or are you gonna do a written report, or?
Your Honor, I will probably be assigned as new PSI, so I will be there.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Then, that will conclude our hearings this afternoon.
Can we address bond on this matter at all, or are you just gonna hold, Mr. Stone?
Well, I never stop people from asking.
I mean, at this point, he did plead to the probation violations. He was keeping up with, pretrial services. I haven't seen any pretrial violations regarding that. I believe he has a PR bond on the new charges, and he was showing up to all his courts, asked that, even if it's with a tether, asked that he gets a PR bond now at this point, reinstated.
Did the people wish to be heard?
Your Honor, after all the probation violations that he just pled to, and my belief that there's going to be more incarceration, it would make more sense for me, I would think, for him to stay in and earn credit. But based on the violations, I would leave it to the court's discretion if you want to give him a bond at this.
Well, the violations aren't the most serious that I see by any means, but he was on probation. We have all the new offenses, the ones that he's just pled to, and then, a slew of these violations. So I'm just not satisfied that there's a good reason to give him bond at this point, especially with a killabrew of no more than 12 months. So I'll deny any bond request. Okay, so that'll conclude things. Mr. Stone, do you have any questions before we go?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you are all set then.